which is very revelatory, as you know, about Meghan and Harry, I got absolutely no help from the palace whatsoever. On the contrary.
The Duchess of Sussex was once extremely rude while criticizing a plan drawn up by the young female employee in front of other colleagues.
Is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. Victoria was happy to see her clothes on Meghan. Very good-looking woman, the Duchess. Whatever Meghan was wearing would be an instant sellout.
Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Yep.
Meghan Markle chose not to put in an official statement because she knows she would get into a lot of legal trouble and she needed plausible deniability. The evidence has been staring at us in the face and they've been trying to hide it from us.
They quite literally have no talent.
There's a situation now with Meghan Markle where she signed a jam card saying HRH, Her Royal Highness, to her friend. And the debate is that, yes, her titles were pulled publicly, she and Harry, but no one mentioned anything privately. It's almost like a legal document loophole. Like no one said that.
And that was very critical because at that moment last year, she was about to promote her Netflix series and didn't want to firstly be seen with Harry.
Meghan is, remember how I said they'll be divorced soon? I don't really know what's going on with them. I like them. And last night made me like her even more.
There's only one Meghan I can actually still be civil to, and it's the one sitting to my left. The other one.
You know, she's getting back into acting, Piers. I'm sure you saw that. She's shooting a movie now.
Thank goodness Meghan isn't coming. And I think that reflected both her own attitude towards Meghan and Harry.
We found out that there were a lot of porcupines probably told to the royals and even to Harry when they met her. And in order to cover up
that she was hunting for a man in England from 2013 onwards when her...
I'm not a fan of Meghan.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. And I wasn't right from the beginning.
What did you make of what she and Harry said to you?
I think poor Harry is being led around by his nose. And I think
Meghan Markle was accused by some commentators of making her first husband agree to a so-called pregnancy contract that would secure comfort, luxury, and total support for her if they ever had a child together. And that is only the beginning of this messy story. Royal writer Tom Bower has spent years laying out what he describes as a long trail of broken ties, stretching from Hollywood all the way to Buckingham Palace. In this countdown, the critics, ex-friends, and public figures who turned against Meghan start stacking up fast, and the person at number one is said to have an obsession that takes this whole saga to another level. Comedian Erin Foster was one of the first celebrity voices to throw sharp shade Meghan's way, long before much of the American public turned fully skeptical. Back in November 2017, Foster posted an old photo of Meghan from her Deal or No Deal briefcase days and added a cutting caption, "Never forget." Then she followed it with another photo of Meghan holding a briefcase and wrote, "This briefcase is filled with my plans to become famous." That post landed like a slap. Foster's point was obvious. She seemed to be saying Meghan had been chasing status for a long time and knew exactly how to play the game. At the time, plenty of people thought Erin Foster was just being petty or plain mean. But later, when Bower's reporting painted Meghan as someone highly focused on connections, image, and upward movement, a lot of viewers started looking back at Foster's posts in a very different way. To them, Erin was not being random at all. She was calling the play early. And wait until number 7.
Meghan Markle. Let's have a look at some before and after pictures, shall we? Meghan Markle before, when she used to be in suits, and she was all tight black suits, hot black underwear, small skirts. Now, Meghan Markle, whoo! I'm not sure, did someone maybe put an air pump up her and just pump away? Because it's all gone a little bit inflatable, hasn't it? And I know we're supposed to say, oh, she's had children. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that marvellous? Oh, doesn't she look great? But no, actually, I don't think she does. I think a few sit-ups wouldn't go amiss. I think after you've had children, you do have to make an extra effort to try and stay in shape. I think if you want to have any kind of midriff again, you need to be putting a bit of effort in.
Because one person ended up losing a major TV job after defending Meghan's critics. That is how explosive this whole topic became. British media personality Katie Hopkins made Meghan one of her favourite targets and went after her hard. Hopkins mocked Meghan as Instagram addicted and framed her as an American Kate Middleton wannabe, saying she lacked the grace and natural style people associated with the Princess of Wales. Her language was brutal, and she clearly wanted the hits to sting, but Hopkins kept coming back to one big contradiction. How, she asked. Can someone say they want privacy while doing an Oprah interview, signing Netflix deals, and stepping into podcasts and global media projects? In Hopkins' view, that did not add up at all. She also argued that because Meghan reportedly had experience in public relations before acting, she would have understood exactly what came with marrying into one of the most famous families on earth. Bauer's work also describes Meghan as extremely media-aware, which gave that argument even more heat. Hopkins was basically asking the question millions of critics kept repeating: can you blast the media while also cashing in on media attention?
Meghan Markle can't win for losing. So you guys were irritated that that trailer for her show was, there is a lack of identity and understanding as to exactly who she is to the audience. Like, first we're in Montecito and it's all perfect, which would have been fine. Commit to the bit, because they do live in, I think, like $23 million house in Montecito, and it is pretty pristine. So commit to that bit. But I feel like because of a reaction from you guys, now it's more natural and just delivering really unfiltered, fresh out of bed content. And that is turning people off because they're like, wait, what happened to the perfect content?
And also they're supposed to appear understated, Montecito, muted tones, and this is a different look. Anyone's allowed to take any picture down that they want, and I mean, I can't imagine going to that event and not thinking that somehow your picture would end up somewhere, but they couldn't resist the temptation of going, but also wanted to resist the temptation of showing, and they didn't do anything wrong. It's just been hard to be them because they have been riding between two worlds for a long time.
Her answer was a loud no. Then comes a reality TV heavyweight who called Meghan out before the Oprah interview even aired. Bethany Frankel, known for building a whole empire on blunt opinions, did not hold back in 2021. Before that interview hit television, Frankel posted, "Cry me a river." Bethany's point was simple and harsh. Meghan had gone from cable actress to palaces, tiaras, global headlines, and a wedding watched around the world in less than 2 years. To Frankel, this did not look like someone walking away from fame. It looked like someone trying to hold on to celebrity on even bigger terms. In Frankel's eyes, if a person truly wants privacy, they do not sit down for a primetime television special expected to pull tens of millions of viewers. That was the core of her argument, and it matched what many critics had already been saying.
So I have to say, I never had an appreciation for the royals, right? It's something that Americans don't really jive with. It never made sense to me, but I fell in love and married an Englishman, right? And so I kind of learned to appreciate the significance of the Queen and really understanding that there's been something in their country that has remained solid and has not changed over time. Difficult for Americans to comprehend because we don't really do tradition. We're kind of like tear it down, old building, tear it down, build something new, tear it down, build something new. So that's the reason I think that people follow the royals. Now, I don't care at all for the Harry and Meghan thing, except for the political undertones of somebody saying, I'm not liked, therefore it's because I'm 25% black. Like that stuff bothers me, whether we're talking about Democrats saying it, we see that pollution all throughout Hollywood. So this Hollywood star going into a country that really sort of loves its traditions, and then accusing them of being fundamentally racist, it's just like, let's keep the American BS race narrative at least within the bounds of America. Let's not extend it overseas to Europe.
Bauer's reporting on Meghan's shifting public image depending on the room and the audience only gave that criticism more momentum. So the question kept hanging there. Was Meghan overwhelmed by her situation? Or was she a very smart operator moving the pieces exactly where she wanted them? Number 9 brings in conservative commentator Candace Owens, who rejected Meghan's public narrative almost completely. Owens came at the story from a different angle, but her conclusion was still harsh. She did not buy the idea that Meghan was simply a victim of forces around her. Owens looked at Meghan as a woman with beauty, opportunity, an acting career, and then marriage into royalty. And she argued that the oppression story did not match that level of privilege. When Meghan raised concerns about racism inside royal circles, Owens responded with heavy skepticism and suggested Meghan was using serious accusations to explain choices she had already made. That criticism lit up huge arguments online. Owens also hammered the same privacy issue again and again. In interviews and public statements, she claimed Meghan was mixing serious topics like mental health and racism with high-end branding, public sympathy, and non-stop attention, all while living in a Montecito mansion reportedly worth millions. Whether people agreed with Owens or hated what she said, she clearly touched a nerve and pulled a lot of the public into a bigger debate about privilege, image, and victimhood. Now hit subscribe and ring that bell, because number 4 is where this story starts getting extra cold. Before Prince Harry, Meghan's most serious relationship was with chef Corey Vitiello, and the way that relationship reportedly ended still gets talked about to this day. Corey was a successful Canadian chef, and for around 2 years, he and Meghan were serious. While she was filming Suits in Toronto, they were living together, and Meghan even featured him warmly on the TIG, calling him her favourite chef. On the outside, it looked stable. Then summer 2016 hit, and everything changed fast. According to Bauer's biography, Meghan was still sharing a home with Corey when she went on her first date with Prince Harry in London. If that version is accurate, the timeline alone raises eyebrows. She met a prince while still in a live-in relationship, and once she returned to Toronto, the old chapter was suddenly done. Friends reportedly said Corey was blindsided by how fast it all collapsed, and here is the part many people still point to. Corey never went on a press tour. He never sold stories. He never did bitter interviews. He never tried to squeeze fame out of the connection. He stayed quiet, and that silence made him look even more solid in the eyes of many watchers. Bauer presents that episode as part of a larger pattern, where relationships seem to end sharply once a bigger opportunity appears. That is the heart of the criticism. Was it true love at first sight with Harry? Or was it another calculated jump at exactly the right moment? Wendy Williams never used soft language, and Meghan did not escape that smoke either. Wendy once claimed Meghan had tried to get booked on the Wendy Williams show before the royal fame hit. She described Meghan as a wild card and someone actively chasing attention. But Wendy's most memorable line came after Meghan suggested she had not fully understood how ruthless the royal tabloids could be. Wendy's answer was savage and direct. "Meghan, nobody feels sorry for you. You knew what you were signing up for, girl. You knew exactly what you were doing." That line stuck because it captured what so many regular viewers were already saying. Wendy's angle was not that Meghan lacked ambition. She actually seemed to respect the hustle. Her point was that Meghan should not act shocked by the pressure once she stepped into one of the most famous institutions in the world. Back in November 2016, when the Harry dating story first exploded, Wendy even predicted the relationship might not last because the drama would be too much. They are still together, yes, but the drama Wendy warned about absolutely showed up, and then some. Number 6 involves a fallout so intense it wrecked a long-running television career. Sharon Osbourne's public defense of Piers Morgan after his Meghan comments ended up costing Sharon her spot on The Talk after more than a decade. That whole firestorm became one of the clearest signs that Meghan-related media battles were no joke. After Piers Morgan walked off Good Morning Britain amid outrage over his criticism of Meghan, Sharon defended his right to hold that opinion and questioned why disagreement was automatically being framed by some as racism. The reaction was immediate and fierce. Sharon was hit with accusations, backlash, and a brutal on-air clash with co-hosts that turned into a full public disaster. Within weeks, she was out. Sharon later said she felt blindsided and set up during that confrontation. Fair or not, the lesson people took from it was clear. Stepping up for Meghan's critics could come with a brutal professional cost. Bauer's reporting also argues that Meghan's camp was highly active when it came to shaping narratives and pushing back hard on attacks. That made the whole battlefield even more intense. And then there is Trevor Engelson, Meghan's first husband, whose story is still one of the most talked about chapters in her past. According to biographer Andrew Morton, the end of that marriage came off as shockingly cold. Meghan and Trevor met in 2004, dated for 6 years, and got married in Jamaica in 2011. By all accounts, Trevor supported her acting career fully, but in 2013, just 2 years into the marriage, the split reportedly took a harsh turn. While Meghan was in Toronto filming Suits, she allegedly sent her wedding ring and engagement ring back to Trevor in Los Angeles through the mail. No long talk, no emotional meeting, no warning that softened the blow, just the rings in a box. Friends described Trevor as devastated, and one source quoted by Morton claimed Trevor felt like a piece of something stuck to the bottom of her shoe. That line is rough, but it tells you just how bitter and bruised people say the breakup felt on his side. For critics, that moment became one more story they point to when arguing that Meghan has a habit of cutting ties fast, moving on clean, and never looking back. Trevor stayed completely silent in public after the breakup, and that still stands out as one of the craziest parts of this whole saga. He never sold his story, never ran to the tabloids, never gave some big emotional interview, and never tried to cash in, even though people said he probably could have made serious money if he wanted to. In a world where everybody wants a headline, Trevor kept it quiet, and that silence honestly said a lot. But Tom Bower points to one detail that made people look twice. Trevor later developed a TV show centered on a man dealing with divorce while sharing custody with the British royal family. The show never got picked up, but the idea alone had people talking. Even without Trevor spelling anything out, a lot of critics felt that premise hinted at just how much that chapter may have stuck with him. That is why Meghan's critics keep circling back to the same issue again and again: loyalty. To them, this is not just about one relationship ending badly. It is about a wider pattern they believe keeps showing up. One person is close, then suddenly out. One connection matters, then gets cut loose. One chapter ends, and another starts fast. That is the image her critics push, and it is a big reason the list of people who speak against her keeps getting longer. Now we move to number 2, and this one hit a totally different level because it pulled in politics, power, and one of the loudest public names in the world. When a former president openly says he is not a fan, you know the story is no longer just royal gossip. It becomes something much bigger. The feud started back in 2016 when Meghan criticised Donald Trump and reportedly said she would move to Canada if he won the election. Those comments got attention right away, but the real fireworks came later. Years after that, Trump fired back with the now famous line, "I didn't know that she was nasty." That quote spread fast because it was blunt, sharp, and exactly the kind of hit people expected from him. But Trump did not stop there. His criticism went deeper than a personal jab. He suggested Meghan had disrespected Queen Elizabeth II, and he also said Prince Harry was being used terribly. On top of that, he predicted Harry would one day regret the decisions he had made. That took the whole thing from celebrity shade into full-blown public warfare. Then Meghan got involved in lobbying Congress over paid family leave, and that made the clash even louder. Trump reportedly called it inappropriate for a British royal to be weighing in on American legislation. To him, it looked like someone connected to the monarchy stepping into US politics in a way he did not respect. That added a whole new layer to the feud and made it feel even more charged. Trump also argued that Meghan's influence had driven a wedge between Harry and the royal family, especially in a way that hurt the late Queen. And that is where the criticism really started overlapping with what royal insiders and commentators had been saying for years. Tom Bower's reporting suggests Trump was far from alone in feeling that way. According to his work, several palace insiders also believed Meghan had a huge influence over Harry and that the shift changed family dynamics in a serious way. Whether people see that influence as controlling, persuasive, political, or simply part of Harry making his own choices, the end result is the same. Meghan became a major source of tension around him. And when a former president and palace insiders are both making similar complaints, that gives the whole story a different kind of weight. Fair or unfair, the heat around her just kept building. Then comes one of the most explosive media blow-ups of all, because British TV presenter Jeremy Clarkson wrote what many people still call the most controversial column ever aimed at Meghan, and it nearly wrecked his own career in the process. In December 2022, Clarkson wrote for The Sun and used language about Meghan that caused immediate outrage. He said he despised her on a cellular level, and the tone of the piece was so harsh that people across Britain and beyond were stunned. The backlash was huge. His own daughter publicly condemned the article. Readers flooded regulators and the paper with complaints, and reports said The Sun received more than 25,000 complaints over it, which was massive. Eventually, the column was removed, and Clarkson apologized. He later admitted he would rather put my fingers in a door than read what he had written. That line alone showed how badly the article had backfired on him. But even after the apology, the whole incident exposed something darker and bigger about Meghan's public image. She brings out reactions in people that are rarely mild. Tom Bower has argued that Clarkson may have said publicly what some people in British media were already thinking, but would not dare say out loud. That matters because Clarkson is not some random guy online. He is a huge TV personality tied to Top Gear, The Grand Tour, and Clarkson's farm. So when someone with that kind of status publishes something that extreme, it sends a message about just how intense the hostility around Meghan has become. And that may be one of the wildest truths in this whole story. Meghan does not just get ordinary criticism. She seems to trigger very emotional, very personal, and very extreme responses, both positive and negative. Her supporters see her as unfairly attacked and blamed for everything. Her critics see her as strategic, manipulative, and always working an angle. With Meghan, there is rarely any middle ground. People either ride for her hard or they go all in against her. Now we get to number one. And this one is messy because it brings the family drama right to the front. For years, very few people have been as publicly relentless toward Meghan as her own half-sister, Samantha Markle. When people talk about long-running Meghan feuds, Samantha's name always comes up fast. Samantha, who is 17 years older than Meghan, has spent years criticizing her famous sister through books, television appearances, interviews, and non-stop public comments. In Samantha's view, Meghan is a calculated social climber who used people, including members of her own family, as stepping stones on the way to fame. That has been Samantha's position for a long time, and she has not backed off from it. She has also accused Meghan of manipulating their father, Thomas Markle Sr., cutting off relatives who are no longer useful and presenting what Samantha sees as a false version of her childhood and family life. Those are very strong claims, and they have kept the family feud in the headlines for years. Samantha clearly believes Meghan rewrote her own story once the royal spotlight got bigger. And Samantha did not stop at media appearances either. She took the legal route and sued Meghan for defamation over comments connected to the Oprah interview, especially the claim about growing up as an only child. Samantha argued that this erased family members and pushed a narrative she believed was misleading. The court later dismissed the lawsuit, but that did not fix the damage between them. If anything, it showed just how broken things had become. Tom Bower's biography paints that family fallout as deeply sad and almost impossible to repair. Meghan's father still has not met his grandchildren. Her relationship with Samantha appears completely shattered, and according to critics, she has cut off most people tied to her pre-royal life. Whether Samantha is bitter, jealous, deeply hurt, or exposing truths people do not want to hear, one thing is hard to deny: the Markle family drama is real, raw, and painful. But even Samantha is not the critic most viewers instantly think of first, because there is one man whose non-stop attacks on Meghan have practically become part of his public brand. If you have followed this story for even a little while, you already knew this name was coming. Piers Morgan has made Meghan criticism one of the most recognizable parts of his media identity. Here is how that whole thing allegedly started. Back in 2016, Meghan reportedly messaged Piers Morgan on Twitter. The two later met for drinks in London, and Piers has said they had a great conversation. But then Meghan met Prince Harry that very same evening, and according to Piers, she never spoke to him again after that. In his version of events, she ghosted him completely, and from there, the whole thing turned ugly fast. Since then, Piers has described Meghan in some very harsh ways, calling her things like a social climber, narcissist, manipulative figure, fraud, and attention-seeking hypocrite. He has repeatedly accused her of misleading the public about racism, mental health, and major parts of the Oprah interview. He has also gone after her Netflix documentary, public speeches, and nearly every move she and Harry make. At this point, his criticism is not occasional. It is constant. The biggest blow-up came in March 2021, right after the Oprah interview aired. On Good Morning Britain, Piers said he did not believe Meghan, including her statements about suicidal thoughts. That sparked immediate backlash. His co-host, Alex Beresford, challenged him live on air, and the moment turned explosive. Piers stormed off the set in a scene that instantly went viral and became one of the biggest Meghan-related TV moments ever. Within 24 hours, Piers resigned from Good Morning Britain after 6 years, but that did not slow him down one bit. If anything, it made him even louder. Tom Bower presents Piers as someone who reflects a wider view among parts of the British media, the belief that Meghan misled the public, manipulated Harry, and damaged the monarchy. That is the lens through which Piers keeps pushing this story. He has written columns, done interviews, launched monologues, and used his newer shows to keep criticising Meghan again and again. He has dissected the Netflix series, Harry's memoir, their public complaints, their image strategy, and almost every major headline they create. The question people keep asking is the same one every time he goes off again. Is this really about principles, or is it about a man whose ego never recovered after being ghosted? That question hangs over everything Piers says about Meghan. Some people believe the bitterness is personal, and that he could not handle being dropped once Harry entered the picture. Piers strongly denies that, and insists his criticism is based on Meghan's actions, what he sees as contradictions in her story, and her impact on Harry and the royal family. He says it is not personal. A lot of his critics are not buying that at all. Love him or hate him, Piers Morgan has turned criticising Meghan into a full-time lane, and there is no sign he plans to stop anytime soon. His feud with her has become relentless, consistent, and career-defining. Every new interview, every new documentary, every new public move gives him another reason to jump right back in. At this point, the rivalry feels locked in. And when you zoom out and look at the full picture, Meghan's enemy list really is wild. From Hollywood people and reality TV names to ex-boyfriends, family members, political figures, royal insiders, and the media men who just cannot stop talking about her, she has built one of the most dramatic circles of critics around any public figure in recent memory. Tom Bower's research keeps pointing to the same themes that critics say are impossible to ignore: ghosted friends, fractured family ties, the ex-husband who got his rings back in the mail, public reinventions, and narratives that seem to shift depending on the moment. Supporters will say she has been unfairly targeted, scapegoated, and torn apart by a hostile press machine. Critics will say she is a careful operator who knows exactly how to move when the spotlight changes. That split is exactly why the debate around her never dies. So what do you think? Is Meghan Markle the victim of non-stop unfair press and public obsession? Or is she a calculated figure who left a trail of damaged relationships behind her while shaping every chapter to fit the moment? That is the question that keeps this whole story alive, and depending on who you ask, the answer changes real fast. One thing is clear though, Meghan remains one of the most polarizing women of this generation, and every fresh headline keeps the drama going. From Hollywood to politics, from family battles to royal fallout, her story keeps pulling people in because it is messy, emotional, and impossible to ignore. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and tell us who you think has been Meghan's harshest critic of all. Do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next royal drama breakdown. Hit that bell, leave a comment, and stay locked in for more.